What's up, guys? It's HBT with Straight Up Wrestling Show. And guys, I'm coming on here to talk to you a little bit about fighting, guys. I'm going to talk to you about fighting because, hey, Chris and I, we was at a wrestling show this weekend. Chris and I, we called a wrestling show in Bowling Springs, South Carolina. Had two of our favorite wrestlers involved in this show, and they put on a boxing match. These guys decided to go in and do a little something different. They to combine. These guys have 30 years of experience in the wrestling ring, but they decided to put gloves on and do a little something different. So they went inside of the boxing ring for a fight, man. So that's basically what we call boxing, is a fight. And that's what these guys decided to do. So that's what I'm pretty much going to talk about, is wrestlers putting on boxing gloves, deciding to fight in the ring, man. Go in the ring, do something different, or go into the octagon or whatever you want to call it, go into the circle and do MMA. So pretty much I'm going to talk about that, but I'm just pretty much going to focus on two wrestlers who have done something like that. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about Dr. Death Steve Williams. Now, Dr. Death Steve Williams, he did not opt to go and be a boxer. That's not what anything that he had planned or anything like that. He ended up getting in a ring with the WWF. I don't know if it's called WWF at the time, but WWE, I just can't remember. But he ended up getting into a boxing ring, where he ended up getting into a wrestling ring, and these wrestlers, they was in a tournament and they boxed. And Dr. Death Steve Williams won one fight, and then he lost a second fight. He lost that second fight. We all know he lost to Bart Gunn. But one thing I want to talk about is Dr. Death Steve Williams, the treatment that he received after he lost that boxing match. After he lost that boxing match, it seems that the aura of invincibility, from Dr. Death Williams just basically disappeared, man. You know, it disappeared, and people treated Dr. Death Steve Williams, not just the fans. They treated Dr. Death Steve Williams something different. Not just the fans, guys. It was wrestling people that's inside of the wrestling community. I'm talking about journalists, man. I'm basically talking about executives and people like that. People that's behind the scenes, all treated Dr. Death Steve Williams a little different. And of course, they treated Bart Gunn different. And Bart Gunn, man, he went in and pretty much got all the way to the final of that tournament and lost. But, basically they was wanting him to lose, and they did not like it that he was going in there and he was going to go up against Dr. Death Steve Williams, and he was confident that he was going to beat him. But, they pretty much was all on him like, there's no way in the world you're going to beat Dr. Death Steve Williams, because they looked at this guy, man, this former football player, Oklahoma Sooner, tough wrestler, known as this tough wrestler, this big brawly guy, man, that was just big, strong, and everything. There's no way you can beat him. But Bart Gunn ended up taking him out. But the whole thing about it is this, man. I don't think it's fair that what happened to Dr. Death Steve Williams. I hate that people looked at him like he was a loser or whatever after he had got knocked out. People, just the perception of him changed. And that shouldn't be the case. Because I'm going to tell you like this. Going in a ring and putting on gloves, throwing hands is totally different than wrestling, guys. Now, if it was a MMA type fight or whatever, or they just threw him in there and say, just fight. Hey, you guys got 6 minutes. You guys got 9 minutes. Go in there and fight. I'm pretty sure Dr. Death Steve Williams probably would have ate him up. He probably would have ate him up. And that wasn't the case, though. They was in there and they was throwing hands, and that's what it was. There was no rules where you could tackle the guy or anything like that. They was throwing hands. And Bart Gunn, who looks to me at that time was in a great cardiovascular shape. He could get around the ring a little bit, a good bit better than Dr. Death Steve Williams. Now, Dr. Death Steve Williams did win his preliminary match, his first match, but, he went in there against a man who just out there winging it, throwing these punches, and he could throw a lot more punches without getting tired. And he ended up taking Dr. Death Steve Williams out, man. But in no way, just because he beat him in that boxing match, knocked him out, means that Bart Gunn could beat him if they was fought on the streets. If something just happened and Dr. Death Steve Williams was going to fight him on the streets, in a parking lot or in a a yard or somewhere, doesn't mean that Bart Gunn could have beat Dr. Death Steve Williams. And that's one thing I think a lot of people don't really understand. A lot of people can't grab that concept because when you fighting somebody on the streets, man, everything's fair game. As far as even if the fight, even if both fighters, don't pick up or anything like that, this person, man, who you fighting, if they can't, you punching them to death or whatever, man, and they can stand up with it. And Dr. Death, he showed that he can last maybe a round and a half, because he stood around and took a beating. A guy like him, he's gonna rush you and he's gonna try to get you down and start beating you down. And most likely, if he would have did that with Bart Gunn, he probably would succeed. So I just don't get it, the way people look at him, because he lost that fight, man. That, hey, he wasn't as tough as he was made out to be, because I guarantee you that guy was 100% just as tough as people made him out to be. No ins, ands, or buts about it, man. What Jim Ross was saying about him and so many others, this guy was just that tough. All right, let's move on. Let's look at Brock Lesnar, man, and his MMA career, UFC career. This guy, he lost some matches. And I see some podcasters, some people, or some fans get on podcasts and they dog him out because he lost those fights. My whole thing is this, I saw the fights. At least I saw two of them. At least I saw the fights. And I think Brock Lesnar, when it boils down to it, he was a little too big, too much of a beast, and couldn't get around the ring as quick or as fast as his opponents. And pretty much he got taken out. But overall, I think I can look at those fighters that he fought off the internet, man. I can look at the guys he fought, and I can tell you what, only probably one of them can actually hang with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar could have beat a lot of people in MMA if he fought smart. If he fought smart, he could wait people out and ended up fighting in MMA. I think he would do a great job. But, man, yeah, Brock Lesnar don't deserve, anybody out there talking about Brock Lesnar, he doesn't deserve to be, harped on and act like he's not a tough guy, because he definitely is a tough guy. The guy is tough, rugged, tough, and just like Dr. Death Steve Williams. But, what's a shame about it is they both almost died on the same night. But, man, yeah, I just wanted to pretty much come and touch on that subject, talk a little bit about that. But, yeah, just because you see these guys get knocked out or whatever in a different sport doesn't mean that they're fair game and they can't, now these guys can be messed with, because I definitely don't see that on Roman, nor do I see that with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is tough as they come, and he knows it. He knows it. He has all the confidence in the world. But, man, wow. Hey, been a good night, man. I appreciate everybody coming in, joining the Straight Up Wrestling Show, listening to a few things that I have to say. Chris and I'll be on for we'll be on for TNT, not TNT. Wow, what in the world I'm saying, man? I am flipping tired. Tonight we'll be on for NXT, guys. We'll be on for NXT, but I'm gonna get out here and get myself something to eat. Come back, man. Hopefully refresh, so I'll be able to do that show tonight. But we will talk to you guys a little bit later. I appreciate you guys coming in. But before you leave out, man, doesn't matter what platform you're on. I know I'm not on live or whatever, but it doesn't matter what platform you're on. Hit that like, share, join on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, man, hit that like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell, ding, 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 so you know when we're on like times like these. Do the same thing over on Twitch and on Twitter, man. Hit that like, share, tweet and retweet and follow the Straight Up Wrestling Show over on Twitter, man. We definitely appreciate each and every one of you guys coming in, man, and hit that thumbs up so the algorithm can know that I was here. But hit that thumbs up, man, because we can get some more people that signing up. I appreciate the count that we have now, but hey, we can't stop. We got to continue to go. All right, appreciate you guys chiming in, and we will see you guys later. Talk to you. Peace. Stay straight up.